Welcome to AI and Ethics, the podcast where we explore how artificial intelligence and emerging technologies are transforming our lives and how we can ensure that innovation remains responsible, inclusive, and human centered. I'm your host, Najada Taci, and today we are exploring the intersection of AI, media, fashion, healthcare, entrepreneurship, and ethical innovation. Our guest is Jean Criss, a media executive, entrepreneur, inventor, investor, and six-time author with more than 35 years of experience across media, marketing, healthcare, fashion, artificial intelligence, and emerging technology. Jean is the founder and CEO of Jean Criss Media and Crisscross Intimates. She has developed patented and patent-pending innovations, including genetics, smart wearable MedTech, and Pink Skins, immersive gaming apparel. She's also a Bronze Telly Award recipient, a senior executive fellow with the Digital Economist, and a two-time Davos delegate. Her latest book, Fearless by Design, Turning Adversity into Innovation, explores how faith, resilience, creativity, and purpose can transform life's most difficult challenges into opportunities for growth and meaningful innovation. In this conversation, we will discuss how technology can solve real human problems, the ethical responsibilities that come with AI and health data, and why creativity, empathy, and human judgment must remain at the heart of innovation. Jean, welcome to AI and Ethics podcast. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for the very thorough introduction, Naja. And I'm looking forward to participating. You're off to a great start with your new podcast. Congratulations.
Thank you, Jean. Your professional journey has taken you through several seemingly different worlds, from technology and media to fashion, entrepreneurship, and healthcare. Yet throughout your career, there appears to be a consistent drive to innovate, solve problems, and create meaningful experiences. So you have built a career across tech, media, fashion, and now entrepreneurship and healthcare. What connects all of these industries?
Yes. Well, at first glance, it may seem very complicated and overwhelming and difficult because I do have a very unique and crossover, cross-sector background. But really all interconnected by one goal, and that's solving real problems for real people through creativity and innovation. When I was corporate marketplace for my first 25 years, I was providing solutions for companies using media, technology, publishing. And then when I went out on my own, I really put together that portfolio of services and offered that as an entrepreneur. And since then, we've applied a variety of different types of emerging tech to business, fashion, technology, and incorporated specifically AI in different apps into my business. And so I guess, I'm just learning and continuing to grow as a person, as a brand, and develop new brands and create brands and continue to innovate for clients as well. So I feel that they're all interconnected. Someone from the outside look at it differently, but that's really I feel it's really just getting with how you utilize it in the workflow that you're focused on.
Rather than following a traditional or predictable career path, you have continually reinvented yourself and expanded the scope of your work. You have evolved from a media executive into an entrepreneur, inventor, author, and investor. What inspired that journey?
Yes, well, it wasn't a master plan, believe it or not. I really just Took it one step at a time. I first started about 15 years ago when I launched Jean Criss Media, and then about 7 years later, it launched Crisscross Intimates. And it isn't easy to get started with either of the businesses. I yeah, initially when I got laid off in the corporate marketplace, was going through a lot of different things at one time. And what better time to challenge yourself than to launch a new startup when you're facing many different challenges in life? And that's kind of my approach was. I was going through uh, breast cancer recoveries, a variety of different surgical procedures. I was going through divorce, started my parenting. It was a very emotional toll on me. During that time, I became an author. I was writing very cathartic for me. And then I didn't like what I was. So that's how I became a fashion designer. I created a collection of surgical rivet garments and continued to just apply my media and tech in that industry. I created a mobile device because what I was hearing, all of the mobile devices that we all use, was very heavy. I lost my breath and all of my upper muscles. So not only was I going through to rebuild my upper body strength, I wanted to create new devices that would make it easy for me. So I created a variety of different patented solutions just using my knowledge to innovate. And, when I was in the marketplace, I remember one of my executives, telling me that I was creative, and I didn't believe it because I was very focused on sales and leadership and people management, focused in the lane that I was in. But I went out on my own. I was really able to spread my wings and do all of it. And so I think it has to do a lot with passion and a lot with resilience and doing what you enjoy doing.
Consumers today are surrounded by more content, advertising, and information than ever before. In such a crowded environment, successful brands need to do more than promote a product. They need to build an emotional connection or communicate a clear sense of purpose. Storytelling is central to your work. Why is it so important for today's brands?
Yes, well, I feel it's important to tie that story together with very genuine and authentic storytelling, whether it be team mediums or through brands that you're creating, whatever it is that you're trying to convey to your audience, to your readers, to your readers, in this case, the story has to have a beginning and an end, and that story has to continue with something that's engaging to the audience. And so by using different types of applications and tools, you're able to tell that story in a different way and make it exciting. And today's technology allows you to do that. And you can test the waters and trying different types of applications in the marketplace that allow you to be creative and to share that story in different ways, whether it be through video or digital or many different forms that allow you to communicate. And I enjoy doing these different types of forms of storytelling.
Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming how organizations create, communicate, make decisions, and serve their customers. At the same time, it raises important questions about originality, trust, and the role of human creativity. So, AI is changing nearly every industry. How do you see it fitting into your work?
Yes, well, I initially started using AI a couple years ago. I was invited to participate on a beta team. I don't know if you're hearing an echo, Najada, but I'm hearing an echo. So, anyway, I participated on this beta team, and we were able to test, invited to test 50 different application tools. And it was the webinar and training, and we got our hands dirty, testing a variety of different tools. And it was fun, engaging group, international group of women, and we were able to test many different types of tools, from graphic to research, to just a variety of different types of apps that can be used in the workplace today. And then what you liked about it, see what you thought about using these AI tools. Maybe you would spend anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes and provide feedback. But this was also trying to decide how you can train your organizations using AI. And we talked about governance and ethics and all of the policies that were important as AI is being implemented in the workplace as well. So that was my foray into AI. And then from there, we all kind of came up on our own and applied it to our businesses. For myself, I kind of created a short list of 3 to 6 applications in a variety of different areas for media tech. Then made a short list and tested those apps and decided what I would use for my business. And also created like 5-minute videos. And I'd like to share that with you because, at first using tools, and I'll give some examples with fashion modeling, as an example, photo shoot, photography. I would sometimes spend hours just trying to perfect, creating one image. And, we don't have that much time in the day to focusing on, one image, and to crank it out and look at the way you want it to be seen in the marketplace. So the 5-minute rule is what I created for myself and my business, where if you can't start to engage in using and produce what you're looking to produce within the first 5 minutes, I do move on to try and test other applications. Because if it's not going to be productive for you to use with your workflow, then maybe it's not a product for you. So it gave me the opportunity to test a variety of other apps. And that's what I did. And I do want to share, probably now's a good time to mention it. I have used AI for content development, for media, for creative agency and marketing, for fashion, as I mentioned, for fashion modeling, photography, for storytelling, for most recently, for MedTech, for the brand meaning. I actually created different names and honed sing with creating that name. I can share more in a minute. I've used it for really just a lot of content development and commercialization with my brands. So there's a lot of different types of apps that I've tested and used, some that I like and some that I dislike. And you do have to get your hands dirty in order to test the products and see what you like and see what works for you and for your business. So I think trying to learn the products and push yourself to get trained is really the best advice that I can do. I'm gonna stop there.
Fashion technology and healthcare may once have seemed like separate industries, but they are becoming increasingly interconnected. Innovations in Areas such as wearable technology, smart materials, data, and personalized healthcare are opening the door to entirely new products and experiences. You are known for bridging together fashion, technology, and healthcare. What opportunities do you see ahead?
I'd like to address how I integrate fashion, tech, and healthcare into one solution. And the way that I've done it is with a new product called Genetics. It is a patented solution where I've used AI, blockchain, data security, and data encryption and incorporated that into one solution called preventive breast cancer. I have created a platform for genetics that will be used for other use cases, but breast cancer is the first use case that I've done using it for women in one of my, but the plan is to make it universal for any product with this technology. I think what's important is that you take and embrace technology and apply it to many different areas. And what I did was really research many different forms of technologies that are in the marketplace and new technologies and determine what would work best for the solution that I was trying to solve. And then figured out how to do it. Now, it wasn't an easy task, but again, the question is how do you take technology and continue to innovate? Well, I think a lot of it has to do with research and development to product design and development and continuing along the path of innovation. And that's what I did. I created the strategy and the plan behind it. And I worked with the development team to create the first prototype of this innovation. And now I'm seeking funding to bring it to life in the marketplace as a full production product line. So I think it's focusing on the intersection of using all of those centered solutions that bring you the intersection of product, ethics, technology, AI, and blending that together to bring your product forward in the market is how you go about it. That's what I did as an example of this.
Writing allows leaders to share not only what they have achieved, but also the lessons, setbacks, and personal experiences that shaped them. Across your 6 books, you have explored ideas that encourage readers to approach their careers and lives with greater intention. You have written 6 books, with your newest being Fearless by Design. What is the message you hope readers take away?
Yes, I'm just going to hold it up here for a minute. Okay. It's a little blurry.
Congratulations on your all your books are amazing ones, wonderful and very useful, and each of us need to read. So I recommend to all our listeners. But the last one is my favorite. So I'm looking forward to hear you about what these takeaways.
Yes, I'll send you a copy, Naja. Well, this book is really kind of a combination of where I've come in my career as an entrepreneur. It's really bringing together a lot of adversities that I've been through and how I've turned my passion into innovation. And some of that does include AI. Some of it just includes taking my spiritual side of me, taking love, taking purpose, taking really technology-driven passion that I've had throughout my career and creating different products and solutions and how I go about it. It's really not just talking about the business side, it's really talking more about the personal side and the professional side of how I've gone about and move forward in my life in the creative side of work. So how you can write above it through living your life through adversity and not letting it hold you back. So it's really about dealing with different challenges and being fearless as you design in life. And we're all designing in life every day with whatever you're challenged or confronted with. And so it's learning how to face those fears and move forward in a life that's perfect. So that's really what the book is about, and I hope it inspires others to read it. My books are fairly short and quick reads, and they're available in book and paperback on Amazon. So thank you for the plug, Naja.
Entrepreneurs today have access to powerful technologies, global audiences, and more opportunities to launch ideas quickly. However, they are also operating in a highly competitive environment where building something lasting and meaningful can be difficult yet. What advice would you give entrepreneurs who are trying to build something meaningful today?
Yes, well, my suggestion is to, look at the big picture. Don't get overwhelmed. There's many different apps that are out there, many different AI tools. Start by looking at the solution that you're trying to solve. Start there. Try to identify what that solution is, how you want to tackle that problem, and then figure out what tools you want to apply and use to solve that problem. I think a lot of people get overwhelmed when they try to figure out even how to start a business, start a startup, and they don't finish it. They may create the idea and they don't know how to launch. They don't know how to take it from A to Z. And so it's the same with product design or product development, or, you don't have to be a master at everything. And so if you can just figure out the workflow that works best for you and put your ideas into play, it's the same. AI is just a tool in your toolbox that can help you with productivity, increase productivity, and doing your job differently than how you did it in the past. And that's how I've approached it. I'm not, I am looking at it as a way that has shaped how I do business. It may help me move my organization with AI agents and doing things differently. But at the end of the day, we still need human-centered judgments, people involved in the decision-making processes. But AI is an adjunct to how you can get the job done. So that's kind of how I found it to be built and how I built my business.
Jean, your career has been defined by curiosity, reinvention, and a willingness to move into new spaces before they become obvious to everyone else. That naturally raises the question of where your interests and ambitions are taking you next. So, what is next for you?
Well, I just finished publishing Fearless by Design. It took 6 months to get that out. And I just published a new storytelling series that you can find on Jean Criss Media. It's a new video selling series where I can help promote other people's brands and products and companies. So I encourage others to contact me if you're interested in having me promote your brand, similar to how I've showcased it on my website. And I'm continuing to do business consulting, podcast hosting like this, and promoting my books as I move forward for the rest of the year. So that's really my goal. Nothing's changed. Lesson development.
I wish you all the best with all these great ideas you continuously have and new things you do with your career experiences, but motivate either us. So for me, it was a great pleasure having the privilege and the pleasure to meet you at Davos this year. and I was really motivated by you and had some new ideas from you. And one of the ideas of the podcast was, let's say, from your media, for your experience. So, listening to your wonderful stories related to your wonderful career. So, you are really a very good example for all of us and for the new generation. So thank you very much for what you do and for motivating all of us. And I think our audience and listeners will really find something important in what are listening from you and will be motivated too. So, we have covered innovation, entrepreneurship, storytelling, technology, and the importance of designing a career with purpose like yours. Before we conclude, it would be valuable to leave the audience with one clear idea they can carry into their own lives and work. So, if listeners remember just one thing from today's conversation, what would you want it to be?
Okay, thank you. I guess what I'd like to say is that innovation is not just about technology. It's about the possibilities, what you see, and not the obstacles. Look at it as, not the glass half full. It's really taking a look at what the possibilities are, that I am possible, you are possible, and really identifying what you want to do and make it happen. I'm definitely a risk taker, I'm a doer, I'm a multitasker, but I do follow my passion in life, and I'm hopeful that I've encouraged other people how to do that. And if you're interested in learning more about what I do and how I do it, give me a call. And if you're interested in having me help you with your business, I'm open to consulting with you and helping you get there. Because I've learned a lot over the years, and this is what I enjoy doing, sharing my knowledge and helping people to take what I've learned and be very effective and streamlined to get there. So I think I've kind of learned the pathway and how to do it, and really try to excel and share those strategies with others. So thank you so much for having me on the show.
Jean, thank you for joining us and for sharing your experience, your vision, and the personal journey behind your work. Today's conversations remind us that the responsible innovation begins with more than asking what technology can do. We must also ask what it should do, who it serves, how it protects people, and whether it creates a meaningful improvement in their lives. AI can help us research, create, communicate, and solve problems more efficiently. But creativity, empathy, ethics, and human judgment must continue to guide how it is developed and used. As Jean's journey demonstrates, some of the most meaningful innovations begin with a personal challenge and the courage to imagine a better solution. When technology is combined with resilience, inclusion, and purpose, obstacles can become opportunities for genuine impact. To learn more about Jean's work, visit jeancrissmedia.com. You can also discover her latest book, Fearless by Design, Turning Adversity into Innovation, or contact her for business consultations at info@jeancrissmedia.com. And thank you to everyone for listening. In this conversation, if this conversation gives you a new perspective on artificial intelligence, creativity, empathy, and human judgment that remain at the heart of innovation, please follow AI and Ethics podcast, share this episode, and join us for our next discussion. Until next time, let us continue asking not only what artificial intelligence can do, but what it should do, who should remain accountable, and how we can ensure that technology continues to serve people. This is AI and Ethics. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much again, Jean, for having you today, for what you shared with us, for the experience and wonderful career you had, and for really so good messages you give to me and to all our audience. I wish you all the best and a great success, let's say, in continuity in what you do and with your every time new great ideas. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.